us on our adventures as we share our overland trips from all around the world.
Finally, we are on the road again. This is the maiden trip of the Iveco. So it was pretty hard to get it registered in Hungary, and I'm not going to go into the details. It's just bureaucratic issues, and it's not a usual vehicle, so it wasn't familiar for the Hungarian authorities, so it was very, very hard to get it registered. But it's all done now, it's all legal, it's all fine, so we are on the road. And another thing was that since we live in the middle of the city, it's really, really hard to prepare for a trip like this with all the gear and all the stuff that we take with us to actually pack everything in the car and then bring it all down to the vehicle. So, but the most important thing is that we are on the road. This is the second day of our trip, and we spent the first night at Lake Balaton. It was alright, it was nothing special, it was okay, but I mean it was special from the first night's perspective. It was the first night in the truck, so it was a lot of fun to try it out and experience how actually we will be able to sleep in the truck, and we don't need to worry about hotels or campsites or nothing like that. We can be totally independent. Now we are heading down south to Slovenia. I think we are about half an hour, maybe an hour away from the border, and yeah, we'll be looking for a camp spot around the mountains, somewhere around Maribor, or maybe even further if we can. But obviously our progress is very slow. A lot slower than with our Land Cruiser, but that's fine. That's totally fine. Guy who messaged us on Instagram saying that if we are in the area where he lives, he could show us some nice spots, camp spots, and with a nice little stream and stuff. His name is Domen, and he's driving right in front of us now. So we met him in a town. He sent us an address. We met there, and now we are driving to this magical place, to this nice spot. See, but this is the power of social media, that we meet new people, and we're probably going to discover some nice spot to camp at. So let's see. So they are driving in front of us now. We try to keep up. They have the same truck as we do back home, the Land Cruiser 120 or the Prado. It looks like it's an upgraded truck, and I will ask him about it, obviously. So let's see.
this is where we stayed last night. We met Domen through social media, and he basically offered his family's place for us to camp for a night or even longer if we wanted to. There's somebody here who's cutting some wood, some neighbor, and this is where we slept, and we are about to leave. Right next to this creek, we have to go through here, and it looks easier than it actually is, so it's a bit challenging to get up there, but I don't think it's going to be any problem for the Iveco, so it's going to be fine.
So we are in Slovensko Bistrica in the middle of Slovenia, and we had some issues this morning with our front wheel on the right side. We heard some squeezing noise, but we went to the mechanic and he said it's all right. No, it's off, so we don't hear it anymore. Now we are heading to the mountains where we can find some nice waterfalls and cold rivers. Yeah, that's our plan. I'm very hungry because I haven't eaten yet, but yeah, we just go to the mountains and we will find a good spot and we can have a quick lunch there, and then we are going to find some nice waterfalls and cold rivers. So yeah, we just done our grocery shopping. So our fridge is full now, and also our cupboards with canned food and yeah, some pastas. So but we have to, and also here guys, because we have some shelves above here, and we bought some vegetables and fruits also, but we haven't arranged our stuff yet, so maybe today is the day to do that.
and Barbara. They are showing us another spot to camp, and we really like traveling with somebody else, like a 2-3 vehicle convoys, not big groups, just maybe another vehicle, maybe 2 maximum. That's the best size of a convoy for overlanding. And it's always also good to talk to a local who knows the area, and then they can recommend the best places to camp or to visit. Or we just hiked to a waterfall, and it was absolutely fantastic. It was so beautiful. It was a great hike. It was a good exercise as well. So all in all, it was a great day. And now we're going to have a fire and cook some meat and have some cold beers.
We spent a very nice day camping in this beautiful forest next to this creek, and since this was the first trip with the van, we've done some organizing as well inside.
weather turned a lot worse now. It was basically a heat wave so far. We were high up in the mountains to avoid the heat. Now it's gone too far. So now it's cold and it's raining. We even had hail. So now we're heading towards the northern part of Italy, where hopefully there will be a little bit better weather. We know a spot where to go, and then after that we're going to meet a friend of ours as well, Jason, who will be in Kranjska Gora, which is a gorgeous area, and we plan to be there in a couple of days. But in the meantime, we just want to go to this favorite camp spot of ours in the northeast corner of Italy. So that's where we are now. We found this track and trying to find a camp spot next to a river. Right there's a river, and from up the main road we could see really nice spots to camp at. We just don't know if we can find an access to it, but this road seems promising. So it's about 6 o'clock in the evening and we can't wait to stop and set up camp. Let's see what we find. We were unlucky. A very nice spot was taken by somebody else, so we kept looking for another site, and we basically ran out of time a little bit, in a way that we just went to have dinner in a restaurant. It was really great. It was great food, and now we seem to have found another place through an app, Overlander, and we're going to check it out, and this should be alright, I think, because it's so remote. It's high up in the hills, and yeah, hopefully we will have more luck now.
eventually I think we came to the right spot, which is right down there. So sometimes it's good to not be successful, it looks like. We're in the Triglav National Park, heading towards Kranjska Gora, and it was absolutely gorgeous, the road so far. And Slovenia looks like this everywhere. This is our impression. Now we just filled up all our water tanks and portable water canisters and everything else, the jerry flags. We are going to head towards the southern part, or the middle southern part of Slovenia now. We stayed in Kranjska Gora for 2 nights in an official campsite. We don't try to usually stay in campsites like this, but in this area that was the only option. And we caught up with a friend, so now that we are heading south, there's 2 ways we can do it. We can drive through a mountain pass called Rušić Pass, but with the truck doesn't really like inclines,
so we probably go around the mountain. We could still do it, but I prefer not to. And also the other positive thing about driving the longer route, or the sort of round route, is that we have to go into Italy a little bit, and we have a favorite campsite along the way. We check it out. If the weather is nice, we might stay there. It's a dry or sort of dry riverbed, not totally dry, so we still have some water source there. And we will see how it goes. We might stay there if the weather is nice. Otherwise, we're heading south next to Tomin, and we're going to stay in a nice recommended camp spot. So it was recommended by Domen, who we met earlier last week, and looking forward to that camp spot because apparently it's brilliant. But now let's see how Italy looks like, this corner of Italy on the northeast.
We're making a quick stop here in this beautiful area in the northeast corner of Italy. We actually camped here last year. Now we're just making a quick stop before continuing our way towards the middle of Slovenia. So we're actually crossing back into Slovenia very soon. This is just a gorgeous place. Great to camp here.
starting point for paragliders, and the view should be spectacular. The Iveco doesn't like the uphills, but it tackles them eventually, but it's not like the same experience with the Land Cruiser, so obviously, but we have a lot more stuff and a lot more weight, but let's see what we find up there. Well, it looks promising. We just have to get up there. It's another 6 kilometers going up to the top of the hill. Quite bad for the cyclists, I think. It's hell. We are not cyclists.
Travel with our Land Cruiser and a rooftop tent, which is fantastic. We really love it. But this is something totally different. Even if the weather is just really treacherous like now, we can still have a nice meal cooked inside. We can enjoy ourselves. We can do some work. It's just a totally different way of traveling than when you're exposed to the elements outside.
The breakfast is ready. I made some porridge with smashed bananas in the bottom and porridge on the top. For toppings, I use goji berries, chia seeds, almonds, and almond butter. Fancy's porridge is without chia seeds because he doesn't like it. Bon appetit!
We are next to a town called Tormin, and we're going to take a little hike to see the gorge, which is around here. This is the hiking trail, and it should be quite spectacular. Now we just visited the Predjama Castle. I think I pronounced it incorrectly, probably.
It's basically one of the most interesting places we visited in Slovenia from a historical point of view. This castle, as we learned it through the audio tour, has been built over centuries and it's developed into what you can see today. It's basically built into a cave partly, and it was home to families over centuries, and it was handed down to other families, and it was just such a fascinating place to visit. Next to the castle there is a museum that shows the different ages that this castle survived, including the First and the Second World War as well.
and it is a fascinating place. So much history and so interesting. And so we spent about an hour and a half in there, just listening to the audio guide and learning about the place. Now we are making some lunch, some pasta quickly next to the castle, and then we're going to head straight to Croatia, probably hit some camp on the coast, hopefully near a beach, and then maybe by tomorrow we're going to be on Pug Island, where a very good friend of mine is going to have his 40th birthday. That's what we're doing now.
We just arrived on Wednesday night and today is Sunday, so we spent 4 days on this island, and I stayed in a camping just outside of Novaya, which was really great, and I had a good sea view. And I spent 3 nights alone without parents because some of his friends came here for their birthday, so they celebrated this boy's birthday together. Yeah, only boys. So I had to stay in a campsite in Ura camping. Yeah, we are just heading to the lakes called Plitvice up north, because on Wednesday night we have to be at home because from Thursday we have some appointments. Yeah, that's all.
Just stopped for a quick lunch. We are in the middle of Croatia now, heading north, and just stopping for a quick snack inside the van, and then we're going to head further up north, back towards Budapest. But we don't actually have plans for tomorrow. Tonight we are staying in a campsite, just because we want to be able to watch the soccer finals for the Euro Cups. Yeah, we are close to Lake Plitvice, which is like a bunch of lakes with beautiful waterfalls. We've seen them years ago, so we're not going to go and check it out now, but it's worth to go and have a look if you're in the area. While driving through Croatia back towards Slovenia, we came across just a random village reminding us all the horrible stuff that happened here in the 90s, and the fact that the 90s wasn't such a long time ago. We were quite surprised to come across these buildings here just by the road, randomly, but then we figured these are probably here left and not renovated deliberately to remind people how bad things were.
We are at the Culpa river in Slovenia again, and it's just absolutely beautiful here. And this is the actual border between Slovenia and Croatia. So the other side is Croatia already. And the water is pristine, clear, and can't wait to have a dip.
Next to a little river, I think it's called Culpa, maybe, and it's a nice little white camp spot, and locals were kayaking and stand-up paddleboarding around there. It was a fairly nice spot, and now we are going to go and have a look at the Rešice castle. It's supposed to be really nice. Otherwise, we're heading north back home soon. This was a rafting area. We're coming to the end of the trip now, and it was like a test trip to see how the vehicle behaves, what we need to change, what we don't need to change, and it's coming to an end very soon. I think by tomorrow we're going to be at home, but then we're soon going to be on the road again.
For overlanders, Slovenia is very underrated, very much not on the map, and it should be. While getting to know more about this fantastic country, we also got to know more about our new van that we have really big plans with. Overall, we were really happy with its performance, we got to know its quirks, and we just absolutely love it. We have really big plans with it, so this trip helped us mapping out all the changes that we need to make, and actually all the changes that we have planned but we don't need to make. Please follow us on our future trips as well.